You're still watching Prime Morning, and of course, the newspapers have actually reported a lot. My guests are seated, but I'll read what the newspapers have before I introduce my guests to you. I'll start off with the Republic newspaper, Republic Press newspaper. Cocoa Board pulls brakes on discards new projects, commits to ongoing cocoa roads. Asanteman Sikeja behind Alan Mamponting reiterates. Okay, so Asanteman Sikeja behind Alan, says Mamponting. Let me put it like that. Says Mamponting. Okay. Dissolve 12-member BoG board for allegedly supervising corruption. Akufo-Addo to name UG after JB Dankwa. Akufo-Addo says so. Apiate reconstruction, we are building a community, not houses, says Deputy Lands Minister. Man sentenced to death for using son as sacrifice for wealth. How do you use your son as sacrifice for wealth? I mean, this world, sometimes you just don't understand. Anyway, let's see some stories in here as well. Center spread, I go to the center spread. Ghana-China deepens the bilateral relations in economic and trade. We didn't know about Cecilia Dapa's case until Chronicles publications, says Deputy AG. Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture unveils 2023 December in Ghana event. Some of us are very excited about it. I mean, December in Ghana is December in Ghana. Vote for Bawumia to lead NPP, Eastern Region Minister declares. Paul Ansah poised to lead a Sojaman NPP parliamentary bid again. Pentecost elder cries over plan to demolish his school. 4 others for Agenda 111 project. Ooh, now if this is true, then I know that people are really going to speak about it because we've complained about lack of classrooms, lack of schools, and so why will they demolish a school for Agenda 111? Of course, there'll be a lot of questions to answer with regards to that. So if this is true, then we ought to get to a common ground with regards to that. The Finder newspaper, Cecilia Dapa demands retraction about alleged monies in her bank account. Okay. Leading ladies lost 3 Ghanaian women to watch in banking and finance in Africa. And we see some leading ladies here. Efe Amwa, Audrey Abaka, Sheila Risberg, and Yawa Hansen Kwao. Congratulations, ladies. Global central banks post losses on reserves in 2022. No quick recovery seen. I can garner 54% of votes to defeat Mahama, says Alan Chemating. My guests are seated, and I know that, of course, Richard Manurubi will have a lot to say if I should pose that question to him. I should pose that question to him, but I don't know if I will pose it or not. 1.9 million Ghana cedis paid to 95 ghosts. Bono Regional Health Directorate accused of inserting the names on Sunyana Regional Hospital's electronic payments voucher. Wow. Local governance electoral process is challenged by citizens' apathy, CDD Ghana says so. And PEPFAR implores media practitioners to prioritize HIV and AIDS-related issues. Let me do the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. Archbishop's special plea to military, don't be provoked to stage a coup. Ooh, did the Archbishop see something in spirit? Because, ooh. Am I the only one who is a little bit concerned about that? Because if the Archbishop says this, then could it be that he saw something in spirit, or he just speaking in relations to the Niger coup? Which is which? Okay. So, well, I think that I'm being told that he's been saying this in the past, that it could happen. So he's actually pleading with the military not to do anything as such. But is it something that is like more spiritual seeing, or just because of what is happening in the economy, and he's deducing that out of what is happening, people could get up and stage a coup? Well, Cecilia Dapa wants Joy FM and Kwesichum. Okay. Upon Chroma calls for deeper government citizen collaboration, and more stories here as well. Mahama pledges support for youth empowerment on International Youth Day, and Gayo School's journalist on dangers of plastic incineration and pollution. That will be all for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. We do the Economy Times newspaper. Government recapitalizes state interest banks by September. Government to borrow 38.959 billion Ghana cedis in the third quarter. Well, I think the Ghanaians keep asking the question, when will the borrowing stop? But it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. It's not. Because government to borrow 38.959 billion Ghana cedis in third quarter. Ghana to witness food inflation hikes as Niger crisis deepens. And of course, Saturday when I went to the market to purchase onions, I realized that there's scarcity in onions, and so you can't even afford to buy onions now. And we might feel it more than just the onions. Inflation for July rises to 43.1%, and Ghana pursues double taxation bilateral investment treaties with Trinidad and Tobago. And let's see, first corner of Ghana's economy turned. There are more to turn, says economists, and we will partake in government's new DDEP, says Senate. That'll be all for the Economy Times. I'll do the Daily Guide newspaper, which happens to be our final newspaper. So the Daily Guide newspaper reads, Cecilia Dapa bursts teeth at fake news. IMF clears BoG over 60 billion Ghana cedis loss. I'm the best candidate to beat Mahama, says Alan. And man kills pal over dog meat. Wow. Has anger gotten this bad? Anyway, the other story here, Cocoa Road projects will be completed. Cocoa Board says so. Center spread. John Dumelo will lose 2024, says Mr. Logic. Hey. Rihanna welcomes second child. Congratulations to Rihanna and ASAP. And Edinate marries again. Another story here, Zenith Bank's steady pursuit of excellence in the first half of 2023. Stories will be in there if you purchase the newspaper. Ghana Energy Transition Plan gains momentum, and SNV improves local economy in Western region. Wudu Sports. Arteta explains party right back role. Mohamed Polo eulogizes. I don't know why when I brush my teeth early in the morning, I struggle to mention some of these words. I don't know. Vincent Louise, Kudus going nowhere. Hey, I said this thing. The last time I said Kudus, I don't think IAS is ready to release Kudus. And they are proving that they will not release the gentleman. I didn't want to end with regrets. Of course, Harry Kane has spoken as well. And that'll be all for the Daily Guide newspaper. Now, let me introduce my guest to you this morning. Of course, on the ticket of the NPP, I have Manasseh Attabuahin, who is speaking on behalf of the NPP. Good morning, Manasseh.
Good morning, Rosalie.
How are you today?
Very well, and you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you. You always look good.
Thank you, and good to see you too. And on the ticket of the NDC, part of their communications team, I'm talking about Richard Manuribi. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Rosalie.
How are you?
Super.
You came in early.
Very early.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Actually, you promised your people you have delivered.
Yes.
That's good. Okay, so...
Well, what's the secret?
For
the past 11 years I've known you. You've never changed. You look beautiful every day.
Oh, thank you.
On and on. So tell me the secret.
I'm 25 years.
I wish.
Richard, I'm 25.
I wish.
You wish I was 25?
No, I wish I was I have the opportunity to tell you something.
We are live on TV. We are live on national television.
So, off air, I'll tell you.
I'll be waiting for that off air.
Yes.
So we start off with our very first story. But before that, let me ask you this quick question. Alan has said that he'll beat Mahama with the 54.00 votes. Percentage in 2024. You agree? I know you say no, but...
Rose, let me say good morning to your charity viewers and good morning to the good people from Kwanta South Constituency and Oti region and the hierarchy of the NGC. And Rosalind, my very good friend, Attabuahin, the head of... government spokesperson of economy. And also, let me be very honest with you. If there's improvement in everybody's life as what Joy Prime has done, and like if government can improve their life, I will not complain. They said today, your desk is very beautiful and it's looking nice. So if government can improve things like this, nobody will complain. Nobody will complain. But it's essentially just tell you that you look more beautiful. Just for a test.
Thank you.
Yes. So he said, who said that? Who said what?
Alan Chemati.
That what?
he will beat John Dramani Mahama with 54% of the vote.
Let me send a message to Alan Kojo Chirmantin. He's a very respectful person. In as much as politics, I respect him a lot. I want the people of Nkwanta to get one district, one factory. Okay? I want the people of Nkwanta North to get one district, one factory. I want the people of Karachi West to get one district, one factory. I want the people of Karachi North, Karachi East to get one district, one factory. The people of Karachi Chibu are also complaining. The Buin people are complaining. The Akuya people are complaining, and that is my region. So he should go and do that one and come and tackle John Dramani Mahama. He can never in any day, anywhere compare himself to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. One thing you should know, and one thing Ghanaians must know, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is just going to do a responsibility, returning back to his office. There's no contesting election with anybody. Okay. So forget it. There's not anything we should talk about. Let's talk about
do you think he can? He's a man to be.
He's not. Who even telling he's winning first in the first grade?
Let me also say a very good morning to you, Rosalind, and to Richard, my friend, and to our cherished viewers as well. It is wrong for Richard to say that the former president is only returning to his office. He has no office by constitution. The highest office in this country, being the office of the president, is not an embodiment or a property of someone such that when you fall off, you can easily walk into as if it is yours. That's why we vote. So it cannot be said that he's returning into his office. Of course, an election will be held. And should he win, which is highly unlikely, it is then that he'll be able. So you cannot say that he has no bona fide office.
But do you agree that Alan Chirmantin is the only person who can beat John Dramani Mahama with 54% of the votes?
No, you see, I have maintained time and over again that what the NPP seeks to do is to vote on the 4th of November for a candidate who is best fit to break the 8. Of course, we have 10 people, party stalwarts, 10 of them, and all of them in their own capacity feel they can do it. But whether we like it or not, there will be one person who will be very much outstanding, who will be outstanding based on his experiences, based on what he has done before, and based on his ability to penetrate the stronghold of the NDC. And for me, I have no doubt in my mind that is the Vice President, His Excellency.
So you don't think that Alan can do it?
What I'm saying is that for each and every one of them, 10 of them, everybody feels.
You haven't voted yet.
Everybody feels
and it's everybody's game. Yeah. So just in case, should this man, Honorable Alan Kojo Chirmantin, become the flag bearer of the NPP, do you think that he can beat John Dramani Mahama with 54% of the votes?
What I'm saying is that the party delegates...
No, it's yes or no?
No, the party delegates, hold on. The party delegates would vote for someone who would be able to break the 8.
And that's Bamia.
That's it.
So if Alan wins, he can break the 8.
We will break the 8.
We
will break the 8.
It's not so that the presidency is not a property to someone. I understand perfectly. But it's this show we are doing, we are on. Sometimes you go for commercial break and come back. Isn't it?
So the
presidency is not commercial break. So people are going on commercial break.
I'm
not surprised they say we should vote for him to come and correct his mess. He said we should vote for him to come and correct his mistakes.
One of the aspirants who want to become the flag bearer of the NPP has spoken. I'm talking about Mr. Kojopoku, who has spoken about the fact that he is not going to run a family and friends business if he should be elected into power. He says that family and friends economy actually does crash the economy, and he feels that that's one of the reasons why the NPP government is struggling. He also spoke highly about the fact that, the decision of the president choosing his cousin as the finance minister is the reason why we are struggling in the economy. Should he not have been his cousin, things would have been better, would have changed, because he would have been quick to make actions or make decisions where if the person is failing, he'll be quick to take the person out and bring somebody else. But because he's his cousin, he's struggling to make those changes. Let me start off with you, Manasseh. What do you think about what Kojopoku has spoken
Rosalind, I strongly disagree, because the facts on ground do not support what Mr. Kojopoku is saying. If you would remember, when we came in 2017, our macroeconomic indicators were on a high trajectory. We were able to tame down inflation, even to a single digit for 3 consecutive years. The growth rates we inherited from the NDC and their abysmal performance in 2016 when they were growing the economy by just 3.4%. We were able to maintain economic growth on the average of 7% for 3 consecutive years until COVID came in. And even on the cedi again, in 2020, the cedi was adjudged the best performing currency against the US dollar. So for me, when I look at what we have done with the economy and given the track record or the trajectory of the finance minister and what he has been able to do, I do not think it has anything to do with friends and family or whether he should be kicked out or not. In 2021, when the 2022 budget was read, nobody knew. I'm not too sure if we had prophets in the world who were able to project or foretell that we would experience COVID to the point that there will be lockdown across the country, across the world. I'm not too sure most prophets were able to predict this. And so when you have an externality of this matter and there are economic shocks everywhere in the world, certainly Ghana would also take a hit, given the highly dependent nature of our economy, which has been very structural, of which we seek to correct. And so when we look at what the finance minister has done over the years, even during COVID, we were growing the economy at a high economic growth rate. Even during COVID, we were still implementing most of our flagship programs. Even during COVID, when our revenue streams were low, the finance minister was able to ensure that as government, he is able to manage and streamline our expenditures and even to ensure that our social infrastructure projects are ongoing. During COVID, we were still doing roads.
When did we hit the roadblock? When?
We hit the roadblock when COVID came in.
No, but you're saying during COVID, all these things happened. So when did we hit the roadblock?
Yes, and I'm explaining that even during COVID, we didn't grow the economy in negatives. There were a lot of countries in Europe that were growing in negative growth rates, but we didn't do that. So the point I am establishing is that if not for COVID and the Russian-Ukraine war, I bet you that Ghana will be experiencing high levels of economic boom.
How is it that some countries have been able to pick up from the COVID effect? They have been able to recover, but we are still struggling. And because we keep on making reference to COVID, Ukraine war, and it's not something that happened in Ghana, it happened worldwide. Yes, most countries went down, but some have been able to come up. We are still struggling to come up. Currently, we are even looking at inflation still going to shoot up, meaning that things are going to be worse in the next probably 2-3 months. People have to brace themselves for impact. And so you ask yourself, when did we get here? And again, we all know that, yes, when COVID came, we went into some, downside, but then we also got some amount of monies coming in. We got monies that we could have been used, or it could have been used to cushion us a little bit. And so the question is, how did we get here?
On the question of why, and you see, there's been various conversations around this COVID effect. And most people are arguing. Immediately we mention COVID, most people mention our neighboring countries, the Francophone countries. And you see, out of propaganda, some people think the Francophone countries are doing better than us. If that were the case, they will not be trooping into our country every now and then. Ghana is the small landing of West Africa, or even by extension Africa. And so you go to Nigeria, all the Francophone countries, all of them do envy Ghana, because the economic structures we have in country are far better than what they have. And in any case, you visit all the Francophone countries today, and don't forget that they do not have a central bank like we have in Ghana. They are being controlled by France. And so once they have a common currency, which is the safer end, you realize about 7 or 8 Francophone countries do trade with this same currency.
I didn't mention the Francophone countries.
Hold on.
I said, how is it that other countries...
I'm explaining...
The reason why I cut you is because we know that the president actually, when Francophone countries were struggling, gave us example that look at them, they are struggling. And today they've been able to bounce back. So if you used us...
Which one of them has been able to Côte d'Ivoire?
No, because if you use us as an example that look at them, they've even gone down. With all the shocks that they have, they've gone down. But currently, we look at ourselves and we are still struggling to come up. Then you ask yourself that, how is it that they were an example when they were down, but as they are coming up, they are no more an example?
Rosin, the point I'm trying to establish is that because the Francophone countries have their currency indexed on France, they are able to get a lot of relief or support in the event of any externality.
Okay.
Don't forget that Ghana is the only country in Africa where we use the Ghana cedi. And so if we want to engage in any form of trade, even within our West African country or within Africa, sometimes we'd have to even use the dollar. And so it tells you, if we want to compare the countries, especially other countries, Francophone countries and Ghana, it is a no-no because they have a lot of support from the central bank from France.
Right.
That's how come every now and then you would find some stability with the CFA and with the Francophone countries. But even with that, you find a lot of them struggling today. On the question of why we got here, there are a lot. And raising that question draws the NDC into the picture again. Okay. Because when you look at our debt portfolios again,
after 7 years.
NDC, hold on. The NDC...
After 7 years.
The NDC creates, you see, the NDC creates the impression as if when they were going, they left a clean sheet, especially as it relates to our debt stock. Don't forget that, of course, government and governance is continuing. And so once you are in government, you create a lot of debt. That's what the NDC did. We always mention the banking sector cleanup. We always mention the energy sector IPPs, the excess capacity payments, this same NDC government signed, of which the World Bank country director explained that this contract the NDC signed will go down as the worst contract ever, highest ever, because it is unimaginable for you to sign contracts of which you'll be paying such huge volumes. Even the advanced countries will not sign contracts to that tune. And so once you do this, every year, this country, Ghana, we pay $1 billion US dollars, not cedis, because of the bad contracts the NDC signed. And so all these are parts of the compilation of the debt stock. Every year we have to pay this. Given the macroeconomic deterioration across the world, it was important for every country to restructure. That's how come on the 1st of July 2022, the president personally took a phone and phoned the IMF managing director and explained that Ghana is now coming to the IMF to seek support so that our own program, our enhanced domestic program, or our post-COVID program for economic growth could be supported with IMF program for us to restructure our economy again. And so the point we are making indeed is that we have come very far with our economy. And today, as the finance minister said, we have turned the corner. We are not saying the economic...
You're turning the corner.
We have turned.
It's already fully turned now.
But we are still doing more. The reason I'm saying...
No, when you made the statement, it was now turning. So I just want to know if as of now it has fully turned or completely turned.
I am saying we have turned.
Okay.
But there is still room for improvement. The reason is that when you take each of our macroeconomic indicators, especially in Q4 last year, you would realize that the indicators were really deteriorating. You cannot say same for today. Even with inflation, which is very high. Of course, last year, December, inflation was around 54.1%. But today, the recent figures for
43.
July is 43.1%. So that alone tells you we've been able to decline inflation by 10%. Now, when you look at the structural adjustments we have done, especially with the utility tariff adjustments, we suspect some slight increases, and it is not surprising that for the past 3 months, we've seen some marginal increases in inflation. But key amongst the factors of what is driving inflation has to do with food inflation. In fact, last year, if you go into the inflation basket, you realize that from last year, almost every time, the component of imported inflation was almost twice that of food inflation. But in the past 2 months, you realize that food inflation has caught up and it's even a little higher than imported inflation. But don't forget that food inflation, food is really seasonal. You have a period in which the prices of tomatoes, rice, maize do escalate, and you have a period in which the prices are so low, where we have bumper harvest. And so government is paying critical attention, especially to food inflation. Okay. That's how come the finance minister reported that we have been able to secure some 20,000 acres of land at Kumewu. So we want to ensure we grow rice, maize, we grow tomatoes, and even poultry on a large scale, so that food inflation will be trimmed down.
I have a message coming.
Richard is very happy.
Richard has a lot to say. So I actually wanted to ask a question, but it will mean that I will eat into Richard's time, so I'll let Richard speak. But let me read this one. Good morning to you. I don't understand why a government official from Ghana's Statistical Service, a statistician, or an official from the Bank of Ghana, governor, or comments from the minister in charge of finance says that the economy is doing very well, while we record an inflation rate at 43.1%. While these respected individuals or institutions know very well that even if inflation hits 10%, economic situation becomes very difficult for Ghanaians. My point is that, 1, Ghana Statistical Service should come out with directives on how best to bring the inflation figure down to single digits or negative. Can we ever get to negative? Wow. Anyway, Minister in charge of Finance must be called to order to explain to Ghanaians vividly why the inflation rate has risen to 43.1% and the measures to curb that. Aaron Bebako Kokomisa from Accra. Amansan Katachi says the governor and his deputies must go now. They are all bunch of incompetent and clueless. Okay. You can also send in your messages via our WhatsApp, or you can leave it on Facebook as we stream live. The name on there is Joy Price. As we stream, just share the link and also do comment. Let's get interactive, or do send in your message to our WhatsApp line. I know the number is projected on the screen, so do take the number and send your messages. Richard Manurubi.
Rosalind, let me congratulate my brother, Shake Me, for the way he struggled to explain things. And also thank him very well as a young boy.
I didn't struggle.
Try to protect.
These are basic.
Try to protect his job and make sure that the office that they give him at the presidency is protected. And I'm also thank God that he has exposed the reality that the NDC has been talking about. And then the world has been very good to the Ghanaians and has been good to ordinary person. That the secret, what NDC keeps saying every day has come to reality. Kojo Poku is the head of transport at the presidency. Are you aware? Mm-hmm. And somebody from the presidency comes to tell you that the nepotism we've been talking about, the family and friends we've been talking about, has led us to where we are.
Oh, isn't it a campaign?
And then that is the message he's telling us. It's a government official. And so he tried, he's trying to run away from the reality, what the man has said, and he's trying to give an economic indication because he's an economist. So he's telling the people the economic indication and giving it the GDP and those things. But I'm talking to Mohammed, I'm talking to Jankpa in the street at Medina, that they are saying that the presidency, the government official at the presidency, are saying that because President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo has appointed his brother as Minister of Finance, and he's not performing because of that, they can't sack him. And the members of parliament, in MPP member of parliament, 90 of them signed an MOU to the president that sacked the Minister of Finance. They said no. The NDC said the problem in this governance is about family and friends. If you look at the structure, the president girlfriend has been. Oh no, that's the reality.
No,
an ambassador. No, listen.
Richard, please.
An ambassador. Listen.
You can say an ambassador. Don't say the president's girlfriend.
But he has a child with the president.
Please.
Having a child with the president.
Is he married to the president?
So your baby mama
is the former girlfriend of the president. It's a reality. It's in government.
Please, you can say baby mama, but do not say
okay,
any
baby mama cry.
The
president baby mama. I don't know what is the
so please, I don't know if he has a baby with the president. For that, I will not. We disassociate ourselves from that. We don't know if they have a child or not.
What we do know is the president's former girlfriend is an ambassador.
I don't know if they're
so what we also do know that the president doctor is appointed.
Speak about the daughter.
What also do know?
But why do you speak about the girlfriend?
We also do know the president's brother, the president's cousins, the president's sisters, the president's sister and sister is also appointed in this government. What would you know that we have over 70 people in this government that have been appointed by the president who is related to the president? And Kojo Poku, who is at the presidency, supervising the president's car, supervising every vehicle that moves at the presidency. No, he's telling us that it is because of the family and friends that is leading us to where we are. That's the reality. That is exactly what they are telling us. And you're coming to tell us the indication. Rosalind, the system is hard. And now we've got to know that it's because the president has appointed his brother at the presidency. And it's not me that said it. It's not you, Rosalind, that said it. It's the presidential appointee who also wants to become a president.
Could it become?
And he's assuring us that.
Could it be?
I don't know, but he's assuring us that if he become a president, which is not possible because President John Dramani Mahama is the next president of the Republic of Ghana, that he will not do family and friends. But we have always said that we want to pass a nepotism bill. You know, we've been campaigning about that. The nepotism bill has been passed. So that any president that comes to the presidency will not appoint any of his brothers. He comes to tell us the financial indication, tell us the GDP and telling us the post-COVID, whatever it is. We are aware. During COVID, myself and you has paid COVID levy. You understand? We're also aware the finance minister came to the parliament and told us that upon spending all the money that we had, there was a reserve of 6 million Ghana cedi that is used for budgetary support. What are you sitting here telling us that because of COVID that we didn't have this? And if you are telling me during COVID, we have a Reverend John Dramani Mahama has secured 200 million Canadian US dollars for planting for food and jobs. And they told us that planting for food and jobs were booming. So we're thinking during the COVID time there will have enough food. President John Dramani with his vision. What are you saying? He's telling that there was, because now they are going to secure about 200 acres of land and now go and plant maize, plant cassava, waiting for the survival of an ordinary Ghanaian. Rosalind, the reality on the ground is that the way the Ghanaians are suffering, that's what we should be looking at. So have you observed this then? I've always said that. Inosu. Inosu. Those days, our sisters who has completed schools, now they don't have jobs. Around, when we know that in the night, around 9, 10 o'clock, you see them calling us. Today, go, by 2 o'clock, they are there.
2 o'clock
in the afternoon.
Richard, what do you guys do there?
Patronizing them?
What do you guys do there?
Do you patronize them?
I pass road to, at 2 o'clock, you see you and the pastor calling you.
And so you answer?
That's the reality of
so
it.
So you answer?
That is what is happening to whenever somebody calls you.
Patronize them. That's why you are saying.
Now, what are patronize?
How come I haven't seen them? Manessa, I haven't seen them.
No, that's the reality.
I haven't seen them.
Rosalind, I am telling you, last week, I was sleeping in my room. And in my room, I heard a gentleman shouted, Honorable.
He said this last week. This is just propaganda.
I came up and I said,
Richard, this is just propaganda.
Can you help me a ball of banku? Just a ball of banku to eat.
But we know that when
that is the ball of banku.
But Richard,
he can afford it.
Richard, we all know that.
We are talking about ordinary person that today from Circle, he will walk. I want to get to 37. Then he will stop. You want to see you being a gentleman. Same patcho. May call Madina Beck on Lorify.
Well, some of them are using it to get money.
He can afford it. It's not about to get money. These are the situations in the ground.
But some of them are taking it. We know that.
You come to tell us that it is Russia-Ukraine war that has led us to where we are. It's not about Russia-Ukraine war. If you are a thinkable government, if a government that has plans for an ordinary person, during Russia-Ukraine war, he's an economist, he knows. Everybody has moved from every sector of economy to gold economy. Am I lying? Ghana is the largest producer of gold in Africa. But whilst the Russia-Ukraine was on, some people like Wutumi and Co. were in Galamsey side. Instead of the government to protect the gold reserve and make sure we get revenue from it, they were using for Galamsey.
Government has started protecting gold reserves.
They were using for Galamsey.
We know that for sure.
Not use that to
we know that for sure. The government
told us it was.
Government has put measures in place.
Which measures?
Oh, we all know.
Go to Yanfori.
No, we know.
Go to Bandankwanta.
We know measures.
Go to Jakubu.
But Richard, you know that when these measures are put in place, it's not a one-day wonder. You can just get up and then it's done. You know that. You have been in government. You have seen how it's done.
In 7 years, and you started Operation Galam Stop. You started Operation what and what. Spend millions of dollars to protect our gold reserve. And you saw what happened recently. When the minister had to even come that people were invading the foreign reserve, taking our golds away. Instead of you getting the gold and use it for productive economy. We were told that my village in Bonache was going to get a dam. So I'll have a good irrigation so that we'll boost agriculture. The one village, one dam concept was that we should get a dam in a village so that we'll use for irrigation purposes. So this irrigation body will connect pipes to everybody's farm. That was the promise. So that when it comes to dry season, we can produce. That's what I've been telling you. If you go to Tolon, only Tolon can produce green pepper for the whole Africa. So when you bring this concept of one village, one dam, a person in Scotland will understand.
If your government should ever come to power, will you do one village, one dam?
The NDC is telling you that we are moving from Ministry of Agri to agribusiness. So we are going to boost agriculture into agribusiness. So are you going to do the one village, one dam? I said we are doing agribusiness. You haven't answered. So no, listen. No, but you said that if the one village, one dam happens, things will happen. So I'm just saying that will you do it then? So let me tell you something. Yes. The NDC and Japan International Cooperation Agency started this one village, one dam thing. Are you aware? Really? Yes. Go and do a check from the Ministry of Local Government. Really? If you go to, I don't know if we are going to this constituency, I've forgotten, but after Yendi, between Yendi and this guy.
So they did some of the dams in some of the villages, but it wasn't one village.
One dam. We started this concept. And the concept was good. We did it, and today those dams are working.
You did how many villages?
We did two dams as a distance. That's why we started the GISOP program.
So you did 2 dams.
Yes,
you are
what I'm telling you, I'm just
like 100 dams.
I said we started.
Do you know how many villages we have in Ghana?
No, so we started a case study of it to do sampling on it. So with that, we even started with a GISOP program. The GISOP program is that we organize the people and let them have this. We have a communal level interest of even going into agriculture. So that's why we started this youth in agriculture model and the national youth employment. So what we're doing is that we'll organize maybe 10 youth, give them money, then we'll give them the seed, and then we let them. So
it was a test program.
It was a test program. Then we started that they will supervise the farming. So when they finish the farming, so that's why we boosted the buffer stock. We brought buffer stock back. So that when you finish the production of your goods, you bring it to buffer stock. That is why the military, the police, and the prison service will come and get their product and buy.
Okay.
So you understand? So we have started this program. So the reality is, what we need to do is that we got to get the concept that will boost the youth. That's why President John Dramani Mahama has promised Youth Entrepreneurship Program. We will start under National Youth Employment under President John Dramani Mahama. Even the entrepreneur program.
We'll talk a little bit about it. We'll bring that topic. Don't worry. I'll bring that topic up.
To end with you. So what we were trying to do is that we're trying to get the youth the jobs. That's why we set up a paid internship model under youth employment.
But we'll talk about it.
But when they came, they took the paid internship model to the presidency and made it Nana Bawumia Company Limited, which is not functioning now.
There's nothing like Nana Bawumia.
What is that?
No, please.
And that's Nana Bawumia Company Limited.
Please, don't say that.
Richard today is surprising his viewers a lot because the kind of assertions and his line of reasoning is quite amazing. And for me, I believe that when we get platforms like this, he's my friend, and he's my brother too, but certain comments are so untoward, and I think we shouldn't condone it. To say that the president's former girlfriend...
No, he has retracted it.
It's not necessary.
He has retracted it.
I said the baby mama.
No.
Do you now?
We don't have evidence.
So are you telling...
We don't have proof that he has retracted.
Because you know the private life of the president.
We don't even...
Such that all his past life and whatever you have
we know
Richard.
President Amado is a public person. You understand? We know his children and we know their mothers.
Richard.
What are you saying?
Richard Manuribi.
No, but let's be fair.
Richard Manuribi.
No, but see,
Richard Manuribi.
Let's also be fair because I am a resource person. I left 1:05 a.m. to come here.
I know.
To support you.
I get you.
So
wait. Manasseh, let me say something.
I can also do same on the former president, but it's unnecessary.
And
it doesn't.
I am not saying a presidential candidate is saying, not me.
Did he say the president's
he said because of family and friends that led us to where we are.
Richard and Manasseh.
That's what he said.
Richard, please, can I have some decorum here? Thank you so much.
Rosalind will do that, but I also want to tell you
wait,
that. I also want to tell you, we know the president and his president's children and their mothers.
Richard.
So if I know the president's daughter and the mother is appointed, you think I shouldn't complain?
Richard, I don't know the president's children's mothers. I know the official children of the president. We know the official children of the president. Let's stick with that. When it comes to things
which one is unofficial?
No, what you are saying might be an unofficial. We don't know anything. We don't have facts about it.
Not outside the children we have.
No,
he has.
We don't have facts. Those that we know that they are
I don't say the president has ignored his children somewhere.
We know those ones.
Those children, one of them, their mother is on a background.
But it's okay. Please continue.
It is surprising the NDC creates the impression and they display highest level of ignorance when they claim that every policy and especially the flagship programs of the NPP today were commenced by them. He mentioned something falsely, that even the concept of the one village, one dam, and he even mentioned that the planting for food and jobs were
we secure the funds.
Yeah, and it's funny. Hold on, you see, it was the same thing. It was the same thing they said about.
Maybe the name was just different.
Yes,
so if the name is different,
$200 million Canadian US dollars.
Richard, will you let Manasseh speak?
No, but I want to go.
No, but let him speak. You have your time. You have your time. Can you allow him to speak, please? Thank
During your time, did you have anything like planting for food and jobs? Did you have a thing of this? Did you even have anything coined in the form of one village, one dam? So you see, because they have no policy alternative, And because they know they cannot govern this country, they are quick to come in to claim ownership of the flagship programs this NPP government has taken its time to reason through, even when we were in opposition in 2016. When we were in 2016, we were mentioning free SHS. You didn't do it. We come in and we do it, and you sit here today and you say that free SHS is something you did.
They said progressive.
What do you mean?
They spoke about progressive.
What do you mean?
No, they said progressive.
It is surprising.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
They said progressive, Manasseh. So they did speak about progressive.
I am maintaining that
yes.
We cannot take them seriously. Because when you mention NDC, and even when you mention the former president, Mahama, in fact, today, when you mention President Akufo-Addo, everybody knows, oh, free SHS. When you mention the vice president, digitalization, mobile money interoperability, Ghana card, digital address systems, a lot. You can mention a lot. When you mention former President Mahama, tell me one intervention every Ghanaian could adduce to him, could associate him with, except for doing so. So it tells you how bereft and empty they are. That's why they are quick.
Are you sure of what you're saying?
I'm sure.
How many Ghanaians have you spoken to?
Tell me.
No, how many Ghanaians
you
have...
tell me.
Wait,
Let's Richard
because how many Ghanaians have you spoken to, Manasseh, that can't say anything and they just get up and they just say do
I am saying...
Or you are speaking on your behalf. Because if you say you are speaking on behalf of Ghanaians, then of course if we even activate the phone lines, you have people telling you that what you're saying is not true. So don't say Ghanaians. Maybe say you and a few others you have spoken to will say what you're saying.
Don't forget that the NPP is a research-based party. And so what we do as part of our daily activities is to conduct extensive research. We are always on the ground interviewing Ghanaians so that we'll be able to fine-tune what we are doing in spite of the numerous successes we have achieved. When we go on grounds every day, as part of our daily engagements, we ask these questions. And surprisingly,
really?
Nothing. I'm telling you.
Really?
Nothing. You mentioned former President.
Have you seen the video there's a video of a woman in Trotro when they mentioned President Nana Addo Dankwa's name. Did you see a reaction?
No.
So I wonder if your research base, did you speak with her? I'm just saying because you use the word. Because you use the word Ghanaians. Because when we are speaking, it's either we say, "Oh, when I spoke to some Ghanaians, this is what they said."
I will agree on that.
Yes.
Some Ghanaians, but you see, don't forget that whether you like it or not, it is not every Ghanaian who would like or love President Akufo-Addo.
So we say some Ghanaians.
It is not exactly. I agree on that score. But the point I am making is that today, when you even amongst the NDC hardcore members, you ask them to mention one policy initiative. The Vice President has been asking former President Mahama to mention one, just one, for someone who has been an assembly member before, someone who has been an MP before, a minister before, a vice president, and even a president before. Just mention one policy initiative Ghanaians would always remember you for. And there is nothing to that effect, except for doom. And so it is not surprising the NDC has nothing left except to lay claim, false claim, on what is not theirs. If you are in opposition and you are here, oh, we brought this. You brought what? To what end were you able to even implement those policies? Okay. That's how come we always mention NDC has nothing good to offer this country.
All right.
So Roselyn, I want to put on record that the NDC secured over 200 million Canadian loan to start the Flagship for Food and Job before we left power. He is talking about when we mentioned President John Dramani Mahama, there's nothing to mention. Roselyn, I can assure you that when you go to Rich, and you ask the people who is rich, they will say it's President John Dramani Mahama because he built it.
He built Rich Hospital. Do you know when the Rich Hospital was built?
When you go to Legon,
Rich Hospital, the student
in Legon, the University of Ghana, they will tell you that there's a quadrennial hospital. Are you aware? One of the best hospitals is the best hospital in Africa. People will know. When you go to Dodua and other Dodua people, they will tell you that yes, it's President John Dramani Mahama. When you go to Port Repo and ask them, they will tell you, yeah, the chief company built it. When you go to Pandai, through
so the difference between the two political parties
so he's mentioning a social intervention policy.
Wait. So the difference between the two political parties is that one is intervention policies and one is infrastructure.
So what is intervention?
Even on infrastructure, we beat them.
Rosalind,
we have constructed more roads than them.
Wait,
we have done more roads.
When you were speaking, when you were speaking, I made him keep quiet.
Doing, but just
Thank
because I'll be a President George
Richard, please
I'm
go
very
ahead.
calm. So, Rosalind, I want to talk about intervention. When we are here right now, and some people want to, even you see that people burst into this studio and want to beat you up, and these people come to rescue you, what is it? Didn't they intervene in your life? There's no intervention. See, I think MPP behave like they don't reason. Because
that's typical of them.
No, it's not here.
When they are losing, they insult.
Please,
when they are losing the argument, they tend to insult.
The two gentlemen, let's not speak with emotion. I get you, Richard. Relax for me. Relax for me. Just breathe in and breathe out. Thank you. Relax for me. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
So
at least retract that for me, please.
Okay. I withdraw if it's as soon as MPP doesn't reason.
Yes,
okay. I said you said the reason.
Yes.
So,
I know why you said that.
Yes.
And
so when they talk about intervention, social intervention, I don't know what they understand by social intervention. But in MPP, in the current government, the MPP, when you mention the Nadu Danko Akufo-Addo, what the people know that he used over millions of dollars to dig the biggest hole in Africa. That's cathedral. That he was building a house for Jesus Christ. You understand? When you mention the MPP now, they will tell you, oh, Cicely Dapa is keeping money in his room and it's MPP money. When you mention the MPP now, you hear of contaminated oil. When you mention the MPP now, you hear of the Galamsey. When you mention MPP now, people will tell you, hey, yes, these people, when the people, Nyantechi was taking money for them. When I mention MPP now, you say, yes, are they the people that stole youth authority money? When you mention MPP, and they'll tell you, yes, oh, is it the one Ajaku said he was misled and Nanado signed a deal that is... When you mention MPP, it's the government that, even the World Bank and other people, Piak will tell you that they've stolen our oil money. When you mention MPP now, it's the same people World Bank will tell you it is the worst government they've ever seen. And that's what Ghanaian knows them about. So the NDC and MPP is never the same. The NDC, you know, the people in this government, in this country knows that the NDC has helped them with their road. The people in Kumawu knows that NDC has given them water. The people in Bangladesh knows that NDC has given them roads. The people in Asujaman knows that NDC has given them maybe a polyclinic. That is the NDC for you. Okay. But in MPP, so what you know is corruption.
Some are policies and others are building infrastructures. So now we know.
Which policy is it?
No, but he has actually mentioned the policy.
Which policy?
You've also mentioned the projects you've done. So now we know that the difference between these two political parties is that one is policy-based and one is building of infrastructure.
No, which one?
Rosalind.
It's okay.
I had a free education. Hold on. I had free education, but Nanabe was not the president. You know that.
You had it in the north.
I had it in the north.
Yes.
President Nkrumah brought Northern Scholarship. I think one of the governors.
But now we know that
Cocoa Scholarship.
Free education is not just in the north.
Somebody also started progressive free education by building the E-blocks and making sure that students there will not start progressive free education. Some people also came and do double-track education. And that's where we are. It's a double-track free education.
It's free.
And somebody started progressive free education.
Okay. So yes. To you, it is like that.
It's a doom-solve education.
Let me bring this particular conversation in. Probably will cool down the waters a little bit. Of course, we've been told that it's very important that we do encourage education in schools, and the education that we have to encourage is, more of. Let me get the topic for you. Is a compulsory course that is. Let me read this for you to understand what we are going to talk about. So the Managing Director of EDC Investment Limited, Paul Kofi Mante, has spoken. He said the issue of money is not taught in school. So a lot of people go through school and they are highly educated, but they are financially illiterate. And he spoke about this because he says that financial literacy must be a compulsory course at the university. What do you think about that, Manasseh?
Rosalind, before I go to that, I want to put on record that the MPP is not only focused on policies or even social interventions.
Okay.
When it comes to infrastructure, we have done more than any other government in the history of this country. When it comes to road, we have built more roads. More roads. Even in Tamale,
Richard,
we have built an interchange there. So the point I'm making, even in education, Richard, respect yourself. It's my turn. It's my turn. Please. Am I not the one who has it? Have we not built an interchange in Tamale? Are you not aware?
Have you built an interchange in Tamale?
Richard,
what is it then? Please, it is an interchange. Richard, respect yourself. Respect yourself.
He doesn't know Tamale.
I've not been to Tamale. Who tells you I've not been to Tamale? I've been to Tamale several times.
No, I'm a Tamale.
It's my turn. You have to bring him to order. Richard, let me speak. I have the floor.
Richard.
Don't lie to people.
Richard.
It is not an interchange, it's an overpass.
Richard,
respect yourself.
Manasseh, please.
When you're doing
the point I'm raising is that.
Okay, wait, before you make your point, gentlemen, I want us to have a very good conversation. No interactions whatsoever.
Sure.
When it's Manasseh's time to speak, Richard, allow him to speak. When it's your time to speak, Manasseh, please allow Richard to speak.
Perfect.
No interjections.
Perfect.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so the point I'm making is that when it comes to infrastructure, we have done more. We have built more roads than any other government.
Okay, but please, we need to move on to our next topic because our topic is very important.
And even in terms of education, we have done more. The E-blocks they sought to build, they built only 29. We have built over 32.
Okay, let's continue.
So it tells you, and
it's okay.
Let me hasten. You see,
if we continue this,
I'm managing my time.
Forced to come in.
No, he can't come in.
No. So
he shouldn't, because when he's speaking, I will not
Manasseh, I have my topics. Let's stick to our topic. My topic is to do with our financial literacy. Let's continue. You had the time to defend. You had the time to talk about the things that MPP has done. Move on, please. Financial literacy. Thank you.
He mentioned that when you mentioned the NPP.
I'll move on from you to him.
Please.
Because I need us to stick to our topic.
20 seconds.
Please, let's stick to our topic, Manasseh.
Then it wouldn't have been fair for him to mention that when you mention NPP, you see corruption. Once they have Jida and Sada and
when you mentioned Doomso, you mentioned Doomso, you had your time. Please move on. Let's continue.
I want to explain that the cause for financial literacy to be inculcated into the academic curriculum of the universities is a right call. I remember when I was in the University of Ghana in 2010, there was this course, Numeracy Skills. And it was a core course that was being done by students, most of which were not reading either economics or mathematics or statistics. And so I believe it's important for students. And for me, I think this shouldn't even be focused only on students. There are a lot of hardcore guys. There are a lot of guys who are top-notch entrepreneurs and they've never been to school.
That's true.
Yeah, so I believe periodically there should be seminars of this sort which should be targeted at people who even have no background in education, but they have some businesses or they have the intention to run businesses, so that they would be taught how to manage money, how to earn money, how to manage resources. And I believe this is very important. You see, money is such that if you don't respect money, money will disgrace you.
So you ought to know the
exactly. So the dynamics
do's and don'ts.
Exactly. I think it's a good call, and most of the universities.
Should be compulsory. You know, there are people who believe that they are not too good in maths, and so when they hear of financial, literacy being compulsory, then they'll run away from it.
No, it is funny when you hear most ladies, not all ladies, most ladies make the argument that as for me, I'm not good in maths, but ladies are good when it comes to money.
Of course, what do you expect?
Ladies are good managers of money, so that is not true. That's not true. Right. I believe ladies are the best mathematicians.
Could it be the way it's taught in school?
I believe so. I believe so.
The math teachers, sometimes they beat us too much.
Exactly. when you are afraid of a teacher, and when the teacher beats you a lot, sometimes it makes it difficult for you to appreciate it. I remember when I was in school, I loved economics because my economics teacher, Mr. Jackson, back in 2006 at Opoku High School in Kumasi, he was very loving. He was very free with us, and the way he would even go about the lecture was quite different from all the other lectures. Right. And so for me, with the little experience I have, what I know is that if a student develops some kind of appreciation and likeness positively, not negative, kind of attachment. But if the student likes the teacher, especially a math teacher, it fits into it makes it easier for the student to appreciate this. But I believe again that financial literacy is something that should be inculcated. I will be happy to see going forward that in all our universities there is a course that is deliberately geared towards teaching people how to manage their resources, how to manage money. And I believe if we are able to do this going forward, when young people enter into early life and they have their own businesses, when they enter into professional skills and even when they enter into government, because they have some critical training in financial literacy, they will be good managers of resources, and that's how the country will also benefit. So on this call, I believe it's a good call, and I support it 100%.
That's great.
Yeah.
You said you completed what? Or you didn't complete 2006? You were in school 2006?
2006 was secondary school.
So what year did you complete
secondary school? I completed secondary school in 2009.
Oh, I didn't know you were older than me.
He wrote what?
He's actually older than me.
He wrote what?
You see,
No, but you mentioned you.
I'm 55 years old. So I didn't know you were older than me. You finished in 2009.
You are a baby of the free SHS.
I'm a baby.
Yes, so
I'm a baby.
I should be older than you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know you were. Oh, you are so old. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we have some comments coming in, and we'll take our comments from social media and WhatsApp as well. Only Manasseh and people in government don't see the hardship in Ghana, but we the people feel it. Kojo from Cape Coast. Okay, Kojo. Good morning, Joy Prime. What is it that Mahama borrowed $1 million to build at Atuabo Gas, and a Akufo-Addo minister is sitting on it in her room? Indeed, Ghana is in safe hands. Nana Yao Techiman. Okay. Good morning, Roslyn. When COVID hit and there were lockdowns, what Ghana did for its citizens, no other African country did the same for its citizens. All other countries, especially in the Western Sahara, are all struggling to find their feet. Cote d'Ivoire, with a population of a little over 27 million, is the doors of IMF seeking support for $3.5 billion. In other countries, people are struggling to get fuel and stable electricity. We don't lack it here. Yes, inflation might be 43.1%, but the reality is that the government has made sure public sector salaries have been increased. Retooling and equipment of our security services. The health sector is functioning. The drones are providing essential services and not spying on the nakedness of women. The ambulances are running and saving lives. Free SHS is saving the poor in society. STEM schools are up and running. Okay. John Mahama is complaining about the effect of Ebola that has not affected Ghana yet. He claimed it affected the Ghanaian economy then. And please, Richard should be true to Ghanaians. NDC never started one village, one dam. He should show us where it is in their manifesto. Well, what he said was that they did only two. It was a trial, right? Trial. Okay.
Did you in collaboration with Japan?
So it's trial.
It's lying.
So he said trial. Now, build this two, I said you haven't started anything yet. So look at the number of villages we have in Ghana. So if you build two, you say you started. Just like they claim they have started free SHS, we started by them. Meanwhile, they commissioned over 35 media adverts against free SHS. Ghanaians have hope in the NPP, and Dr. Bawumia will come and continue with the development agenda set forth by President Nana Akufo-Addo. Inshallah. Osman Kariyama. Okay. Good morning, Roslyn. I'm enjoying your program. What MPP guy is saying is 100% correct. Muhammad Dumso Bafo Osei. Okay. The beauty of democracy is when we see political parties of different colors come together under one umbrella to agree to disagree during parliamentary sessions and after. It is the beauty of democracy when we see political parties, delegates from different political parties, that's grassroots, see each other as brothers and sisters, but not enemies of each other. My point is that you see political parties faithful hating each other, a brother or sister, like the way they hate hell because they don't share the same political party's faith or ideology with that fellow, and that is bad culture. It's about time political party members get the revelation and a better understanding of what they find themselves in. Lord have mercy, love not hate. Aaron Bebako Kokomisa, Accra. Okay, I think that'll be all for now. And let me come to you, Richard. Your take on the financial literacy being compulsory in universities.
I agree with him. I think it's a financial aspect. And then I think it's the best thing to do. But then I just don't see that it should be only in the universities. It should start basic, even in our domestic homes. Right. I think a lot of family people do the same. They buy this saving money box for their children, their kids at home. And I want to encourage that thing. Instead of giving them money to go and buy something, when they give them, you direct them to go and keep it in there so that they have a culture of saving. So when they have a culture of saving, you know the useful of the value of the money. Rosalind, we all know that most of the young guys in town today that are not even unemployed, roaming around, at the end of the day, they make money more than you. You know that. They make money more than you. But because they don't have the financial literacy, they don't know how to use it. I think Minister of
how
Finance...
to manage it. Yeah, that's true.
The Minister of Finance has started that program of going to the communities and then gather them and then give them the financial literacy, which is very, very, very important. That's why President John Dramani Mahama is saying that when we come to power, we're going to build educational structure that will be technical and vocational based universities. And you know, when you build a technical and vocational based universities, those people have much financial saving, culture of saving than the social investors. Because I'm telling you, your colleague who completed school with you, who's a hairdresser, has money more than you.
You're telling me?
Yes, I'm telling you, he has money more than you. And he has even employed people more than you. So we are looking at technical and vocational based universities. So the 6 new university President John Dramani Mahama is going to build. No, we built 4 already. We are going to add another 6 new universities.
Built 4 already?
Yes, we built 4 already. Okay. Should I name them?
Yes, please.
Yes, University of UHAS is there.
Yeah.
The one in renewable energy in Sunyani is there. Okay. The one in Somanya is also there. And I think this one too. Another one, I've forgotten the name, we built 4 already.
So what's the name of the one in Somanya?
Somanya is sustainable and something energy. Yeah, that's what that was.
Is it in operation?
It's in operation. Okay. Yeah, that's what that one is also there. So that's why we try to turn the polytechnics to technical universities.
Okay.
So we are now going to build 6 new more. That will be in the newly created regions. That is going to be technical and vocational based universities. And those people will now learn how artisanship it is. So that the big push is coming. So with a big push, you get a lot of labor. So the labor, we build a macro economy. So when you build a macro economy, you need to understand it. The micro will be booming. That is where there will be schools,
the gap.
The gap of this, and then such people will also be taught of how you'll be able to manage the financial literacy. So it's not.
But you said we should start from down. We should start from basics.
No, so when any government that goes into construction economy, the micro economy will boom. He knows better. He can explain better to you.
No, you said the financial literacy should be taught.
So that's what I'm saying. Basics. I'm saying it shouldn't be only on tertiary institutions.
Okay.
It should start from
basics.
Even home. Before you go to basic schools, when you're going to school, when your parents give you money, so tell you how to spend it and to keep some. So that maybe on your birthday, you should use it for something. So it gives you that kind of future.
Right.
Right. So we have plans for all those things, and I think that we'll add it to the curriculum with his advice. I know that our manifesto, the educational department, will look at it critically and put it part of our manifesto. We'll make sure we'll give them that education. But also, you know, in the universities, it's all about, if you think about money, and that's what is spoiling our economy. Everybody wake up, all they think is about money, and that's exactly what is happening in this government. Because it's all about consumption. They don't look at the productive economy. So when you don't look at productive economy, you want to consume what you don't produce. How is that possible? So you see, we have plans. So it will work well.
We'll move on to our next topic, and our next topic has to do with John Dramani Mahama, who says that he's going to create more jobs for the youth, and he says the next NDC government will create a 24-hour economy with incentives and tax breaks. And I know that a lot of people have questioned this. Now, when I read further, what I got to understand was that he said he's going to create a 24-hour job where people will do the shift system. So some people will start probably 6 to 6 and others will continue, So he's going to have a 24-hour job to enable more youth to get employment when he becomes the president. Manasseh.
This sounds very funny. And the question I ask myself is, when he was president, what direct initiative did he implement in ensuring that the numerous youth who were crying on him that, Mr. President, we want jobs, do something for us? You remember what he told them? He told them in their faces, he spat on their faces that, my friend, I am not a magician to conjure jobs for you. That's what he said. I do not remember a single deliberate policy the former president, and for that matter, the then NDC government, did to create employment for the youth. If for nothing at all, this NPP government we have added almost 300,000 people to the public sector wage bill. That's how much we have employed. During COVID alone, we employed about 54,000 nurses, and to today they are still working. They are still working.
Richard, we agree that when one is speaking,
they are still working. You see, Richard doesn't respect himself.
Continue. You want to write it? Write down your point.
No, if for nothing at all, at a go, we were able to implement the single most expansive employment initiative, which is the NAPCO, which employed 100,000 youth at a goal. The good news with that was that it was a 3-year program. When it got to an end, we even extended it for a year. And about 33,000 of these youths out of the 100,000 were able to secure employment elsewhere, either in the private sector or in the public sector. What government is doing and what we have even begun is to ensure that as many youths who have the idea of creating their own employment will not be left to go back home. And that's how come we are implementing the Youth Start program, and we are training so many youths today. Most of them are undergoing training. And so when someone who has been president before, someone who even scrapped the teacher and nursing training allowance, someone who even ensured that teachers worked for 3 years and he paid them only for 3 months, someone who insulted the youth and told them that I'm not a magician, so I can't create any job for you, and someone of which one of his ministers came out and said that, oh, if anybody complains, if a youth complains that he or she is not having a job, then the person is lazy. You can easily enter any bush and cut grass. And when you find these people who rear animals, when they are passing by, they'll buy it. Or equally, you can gather stones and sell. You see the level of impunity and insults and arrogance these same NDC people level against Ghanaians. And so no one will take him serious. You had the opportunity, you were president before. What did you do? What is your track record? Nothing. You even collapsed them. During his time, the Graduate Unemployment Association was at its peak. So unbearable. So unbearable. And so today you only make propaganda and easy. He can't do it.
He can't do it.
He can't. And in any case, don't forget that the public sector is choked. The public sector is choked. The best thing for every government is to create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. That's why we are engaging in this Youth Start program to ensure that we support you to go into.
Currently looking at the taxes that we have, Manasseh, the private sector is not thriving. And we know that the private sector has complained on several grounds that they are struggling. So if we say that we are creating for the private sector to thrive and yes, we are struggling under the current government, then there's a lot of questions to be answered there, right?
I'll come to that. But the point I'm making is that the public sector is choked. And so for him to say that he's going to create a 24-hour job system such that
we see the West doing it.
I mean, this is laughable.
We see it doing in the West. We see it in the West. So why can't it be done here?
Opportunities.
But it's the same. It's in the government sector. There are people who are working from morning to evening. There are people doing the night shift. So why can't it be done?
What job opportunities has he been created to even say this? The public sector itself is choked. And so it makes it difficult. So are you by far, is he by far explaining that with the current public sector, he is going to create a shift system? We will only be bloating the public sector, wage bill for nothing.
How?
And he cannot also force the private sector to enter into this shift system because they operate on their own and they run their own businesses. And so instead of saying this, he should rather...
When you start in the government sector, then you definitely have the private sector wanting to be a part of it because probably they will realize the benefit of it in the government sector and decide to do it as well. And so it will trickle down. Because when I lived in the West, it happened. I've done night jobs before. Sure. I've done day jobs before. Sure. And so I know that it works. And so why can't we do it here? What is stopping us from doing it? What's preventing us from doing it?
The question you should even ask yourself is what
No, I'm asking you.
Yes. And I'm saying what initiative does he have in mind to ensure we expand productivity and even the kind of job opportunities we have in country? So if you don't lay down a clear-cut policy intervention to ensure we have so many job opportunities, it becomes extremely laughable for you to just mention, just because you want to play on the intelligence of Ghanaians and because you want to send a message that will appeal to Ghanaians without a high level of scrutiny. You just mentioned, oh, when I come, I will create a 24-hour job system. I mean, this is laughable. It would have been proper for him to outline measures to ensure that when he comes, should he come, which is very unlikely, of which he can't come, but should he come, what are the policy directives he will put in place to ensure that we expand the economy further, especially in the government sector?
Everybody.
That is the thing. So without that, you cannot say you create this.
Manasseh, you agree that everybody's plan is different. His plan is different. His style is different. His style of governance is different. The NPP government style of governance is different. For you, maybe you had a NAPCO, which we all know that for now, even those who went into the NAPCO, as of now, most of them don't have a job because it's ended. And we are hoping that they will be enrolled onto the U-Start, which hasn't started yet. Again, we've seen that the nurses that were put in there, most of them have now flown out of the country. And so, yes, your plan is perfect, but probably this is also his plan, saying that if I come, maybe should we not see if it's going to be done?
No plan.
He can't do it. Okay,
he
Richard.
has no plan to create
all right. Let me bring Richard.
Only propaganda in the campaign.
Okay.
He has no plan
but that's
whatsoever.
not propaganda. Propaganda is
because
lies.
he did not explain.
But this is not propaganda. This is his message. It's not propaganda.
You see, when you put out a message without explaining, when you put out a message, I'm going to create a 24-hour job system, and I am explaining that this is not enough.
Okay.
You should explain what you will do to expand the productivity, the real sector in the economy. But if you just mention that when I come, I'll create a 24-hour job system, it is laughable.
Okay.
It is.
So that's why I'm here. I'm here to represent President John Dramani Mahama.
That's why you are here.
Yeah, to explain why we are saying we're going to create such an economy. He didn't understand. It's difficult for a visionless person to get vision. So maybe when he leaves yesterday, you have that vision and know that President John Dramani Mahama has a vision of making this country productive. So what we are looking at is that we are looking at how we've now moved into social...
But before you continue, is this the University of Environment and Sustainable Development?
Yes.
Okay.
All
right.
Built by President John Dramani Mahama.
Okay.
So we are looking at that. Instead of we going more into social intervention and looking at, when you go to the ministry, you see young boys and girls, all you see, there's only one color you see at the ministry, is brown envelopes, looking for jobs all around. So what we'll do is that first we started with this policy, a three-shift economy policy. And so the three-shift economic policy, what we did was that we took the port as an example. So we built the MPS. So the MPS, what we did is that MPS was able to create about 2,000 jobs for the youth there, and they run a three-shift economy at the MPS. So some go in the morning, some go in the afternoon, some go in the evening. So really it works for us. So we now move to Terminal 3. You see, Terminal 3 also created a three-shift economy job. So in Terminal 3, they run shift there. So realize it works for us. So we try to move into four-shift economy job. So in a four-shift economy job, we put in a 12 gas. So the 12 gas, people run four-shift economy there. So people go in the morning, people go in the afternoon, people go in the evening. So yes, so if you do those things, it will work for us. So we took another sampling of it, and why don't we empower the pharmaceutical industry? You realize the President John Dramani Mahama gave millions of dollars to pharmaceutical industry to expand their jobs. So when they were expanding the job, we moved the Food and Drug Board to Food and Drug Authority. So the Food and Drug Authority, we tried to expand their scope of operations. So we put in their one tower in Tema. So look at how the sampling and do. So Standard Authority, Food and Drug Board, and some agencies came together to make sure they supervise this. So we also created three-shift economic jobs. So we are saying that now we're going to move to entrepreneurial development, and we'll bring National Apprenticeship Program. So the National Apprenticeship Program is that we're going to train the youth in entrepreneurial development in every agency and with your expectation. So with that, when it creates such, the National Apprenticeship Program, so when we enroll into National Apprenticeship Program, we'll give you incentives every month so that you'll be able to stay. Because
you give incentives every month?
Every month, yes, for the National Apprenticeship Program.
Really?
It's like recruiting people in the Ghana Police Service.
But is this not the same government that cancelled the teacher allowance?
No, hold on. So National Apprenticeship Program will give you incentive every month. So with the incentive, when you are able to sustain the job and you finish, we establish you. So with the establish that we do, you also be able to create...
So where are you going to get this money from?
No, hold on. When you have a good revenue mobilization, you'll be able to get... When you don't consume the money carelessly, when you don't keep money in your room...
So you'll get the money to do all of this. So how come you didn't have the money for the teacher allowance?
That's why we are telling you that we are going to create an Office of Value for Money. So office of value for money, any government, any contract will give more than $5 million will be supervised with National Procurement Authority, so that there will not be embezzlement. You see, National Procurement Authority recently saw how the CEO stole money. So we are going to cut off those kind of structure from there. You're asking me,
who stole money?
So you are asking me,
who stole money?
You are asking me, why do we cancel national teacher training allowance? You see, that's what I'm saying. That when you don't have vision, you see, propaganda will mislead you. No, we have
what vision do you have?
We have three types of propaganda.
No. Why did you cancel it?
No, what we did was that we did
because you are bringing incentives. Whatever.
So what we did is that when we came to power, you know, the teacher training college, it used to be teacher training college. And then when you complete school, you get set A. So when set A, we put in a model of that when you finish, you get a diploma. So after diploma, we move with that. You can go to teacher training college and get a degree. You understand? So you come, instead of you finishing and now go to Winneba to get a degree, why don't you do 4 years at the teacher training college, then you get a degree. But we look at it as, okay, if Menasi is University of Ghana and he doesn't get incentive, come out with a degree, and I'm also in maybe the Mba Training College. It's College of Education, the My College of Education, and I also get a degree. But I take allowance, but Manasi will not get allowance. But we are all coming out with a degree, so we say, okay, we set up a student trust fund. You understand? So when we enroll you, you can go to student trust fund and get a loan from it, so that you can use the rest of the money to expand. They will cut off the quota system. You know, they used to do quota system.
But student trust fund has always been there.
Yes, what I'm saying, but they use quota.
Because it's been there for a very long time.
So what I'm saying is that
that's why I said they claim everything to themselves.
Let me handle this.
You when we're talking. So we are saying that instead of you getting a degree, go to the student loan trust fund. There's fund there,
which has always been there.
Yes, that's always been there. Whatever.
So it's not like you brought it up because you cancelled the teacher allowance.
No. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
That's what you said.
I said
that's what he said.
So I'm saying that it's not like you brought it up because you cancelled.
No.
We just want people to understand.
So what I mean is that so instead of us getting a degree, let's go there so that we use the rest of the money. Then we expand the College of Educations so that we will take the quota system out, so that anybody can get access to the College of Education. Because first, they will just say the math training college take 20 people, and maybe just second College of Education take 10 people. So we abolish the quota system. Then you can get more of enrollment, and so because we are doing school, we are almost done with schools under threes, so that more of the teachers can now get access to the teaching. The system of education can be started. I think it was a good vision that we were trying to do, but the MPP did politics with it. But today, as I'm talking to you now, you can call any of the teachers. It's been 8 months, 9 months. They've not been paid allowances. And even though paying their allowances, now they pay for their food and their utility bill in the schools. You understand? But meanwhile, we have a good package for them.
But at least they knew that they were going to get the allowance. They know they'll get the allowance, but you cancelled.
We didn't cancel. What I'm saying, what I mean is that we directed that go to the student loan transfer and get a loan so that we use the allowance to expand the school so that others get accessibility.
So it was cancelled.
It was accessibility.
But
so
it was cancelled.
Listen, there's a difference between cancel and redirect. You understand? Yes, no. There's a difference between cancel and redirect.
So it was redirecting to the loan side. But allowance and loan are different because loan you pay.
We are in multimedia.
But allowance is different.
We are in multimedia now, isn't it? We are in multimedia. Maybe we are at Prime now. And it's okay. Your money show Prime. It's so limited. Prime morning show. So let's put more chairs for people to say, but Rosa don't have that capacity to host. So there's another capacity somewhere for you to go and host a program. Is it that they've started from?
That's not what it is.
Is it that? But people didn't understand the concept.
No.
Now, Rosalie, so
Richard, but we are on TV here.
I am here.
You know what you are saying.
I am here to tell you the vision that we had for Ghanaians, and then
so in your vision,
yes,
teacher loan was not cancelled.
Yes,
teacher allowance
yes
was not cancelled.
Yes,
but you now have to move from allowance to a loan, which you pay
when you complete because you have a degree.
But with the allowance you don't pay.
So you have a degree, there will be good conditions for you.
Okay.
You understand? So the other can get accessibility, so that can expand the structure.
But allowance you don't pay. So
now today when you go to all the you can sell your media people. When you go to all the teacher training colleges now, you see that we started most of the infrastructure there. Now it has all been abandoned there. That's why we're even saying that when we come for our first 2 years, we are going to complete all the abandoned projects so that everybody can get access to the health sector, the education sector, the infrastructure sector. So if you see the President Mahama that they don't bring any vision of how to create jobs So I'm telling you that we started this policy. Like you are just saying, now when you are building new universities, now we are going to build 6 new universities. We are going to build 1 infection center. We are going to build six new regional hospitals.
That's if you come to
yes,
power.
we are going to build 6 new regional hospitals.
Okay.
So with all that, it will run a shift of economy. And so people get jobs to do. And these are the plans we are trying to bring to make sure the economy runs.
All right. Nana Kojo Asare says Mahama can't do it. He only wants votes, political talk. Okay. You can also send in your messages. These are messages coming from other people. Send in your messages and let's read it live on air. Okay, so take a look at this video. Let's take a look at this video. I think, yes. Okay, this is Sengpe STEM school built by the Akufo-Addo government that can contain over 15 of John Mahama's e-blocks. Richard must see this from Osman. Richard, you just saw it.
It's uncompleted, isn't it?
But
and 5 months, 16 months to leave government.
It's under construction,
So
but it's almost done.
It's 16 months to leave government.
Done.
So these are the things we are saying. So STEMs are
completed.
STEM schools.
Look at the buildings over
No, but to be honest, I'm not against STEM schools. But but if you look, what you are looking at this, let them play Legon Hospital for you, Maritime Hospital, Afari Hospital. Let them play it for you. The BoG Regional Hospital, Wa Regional Hospital. Let them play all those hospitals for you. Let them play the E-blocks in Nkwanta South, the one in Larbanga, the one in Wulesi, the one in Pandai. The one in this in Nkwanta North, that is Damanko.
So when you're coming here next week, can you bring us the videos?
No, but so your production team can do that.
So we should go and find it out.
Go and find it out.
Okay.
And you can see, you are talking about 15 of this, just let them play it and you see.
Okay.
Let them play Terminal 3.
All right. So we should go and find it out.
Yes, you ask hospital, University of Allied Health, let them play it.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, Rose. Good morning to Brother Richard. Madam Rose, I want to educate Manasseh the policies John Dramani Mahama did. JM implemented rural electrification, eliminated schools under trees, free sandals and school uniforms, and so on. Manasseh should not put dash in people's eyes. He said NDC built only 29 e-blocks, and they have done over 40. Good. I challenge him to mention one e-block NPP under the Akufo-Addo and Baumia was started and completed. My name is Bright Stilbe from Zabzugu, Northern Region. All right.
So if you go from Yendi to Zabzugu Road, from Yendi, from Sabuwa to Zabzugu, go and see how terrible the road is. Go and see how terrible the road is. It was Saturday, they say it's Koko Road. The people don't deserve development.
All right, Manasseh.
You see, Richard is sweating.
Sweating what? Am I sweating?
How is he sweating?
I'm sweating.
He's all wet because he's struggling to explain the supposed four shift system, 3 shift system. And Richard, you are here mentioning MPS.
Yes.
MPS. Are you aware of the kind of contract and how it has brought a lot of difficulties on Ghanaians? Go into the details of the MPS contract and you realize that a chunk of the gains we are making over there is going outside.
Where?
Do you know how much the government of Ghana gets from this MPS deal NDC signed? Are you aware?
Which one?
A chunk over 80% goes to foreigners, and you are sitting here mentioning MPS.
Richard.
I'm even surprised he's mentioning MPS.
Richard, continue.
You didn't do due diligence in your MPS saga.
Don't say
I have no problems. I'm bringing it. What I am mentioning is that you cannot even sit here and mention MPS and all of that because you have done the nation a great disservice. You set up, you build Terminal 3. Good. That is good. Then you bring in foreigners and all they get, about 80 to 90% of the resources we get here have been taken away by the form of capital outflows.
You have always been bringing documents.
Who are the managers of MPS?
Bring the proof.
Are they not foreigners? No, I'm asking him. Are they not foreigners? They are foreigners, and I am telling you today. Yes, I'm telling you today that the MPS. So you cannot even boast of.
So the two of you agree that when one is speaking, one will keep quiet, and then what happened? It went down the drain.
You have given me the floor. He is coming in.
You kept on asking him questions.
You see, the point I'm making is that, you see, the NDC should even bow their heads in shame. When they mention, Richard, when is your turn? You come in.
Richard, I'll pull your chair
when you mention Terminal 3 and you bring in MPS, because the kind of contracts they signed, everything goes to the foreigners.
So you don't think they can do this 24-hour system? They can't do it.
It's only political talk.
It's only political talk.
And you see, Richard should accord some level of respect and dignity to Ghanaians. Please. We don't have short memory like the former president insulted us. I beg you, Richard. I beg you. There are a lot of Ghanaians who are level-headed and they are smarter than you and I. For you to sit here and allege and to lie palpably that as for the teacher and nursing training allowance, it wasn't cancelled. It was only, redirected. What kind of deceit is that? Please, you cancelled it. At a point, the former president himself said that even if the cancellation will cost him his seat, he doesn't care. He's ready to sacrifice that. Have you forgotten? He said that he will cancel the teacher and nursing training allowance. He did it. When people were raising objections, he said that even if it will cost him his presidency, he doesn't care. He himself used the word cancellation. And you sit here and say that, we didn't cancel. We only redirected. Please.
Anyway.
Accord us some kind of respect. We beg you.
All right.
We beg you. Don't do that.
Okay.
We don't have short memory. We beg you.
Quickly, 1 minute, and then move on to the final topic.
So, Rosalie, he was asking how we're going to do the four-shift economy. And I think I took time to explain how the NDC and President John Dramani Mahama is going to do the four-shift economy. It is possible. We've done it before, and I told all the sectors that we've been able to do. And I believe that Ghanaians will know that President John Dramani Mahama is capable. His propaganda, I'm not here to react to it. I'm here to tell Ghanaians, I'm here to educate Ghanaians as to how possible President John Dramani Mahama, the NDC, is going to do the four-shift economy. So now it's only thinking about how the contract was awarded. It doesn't think how it created the three-shift economy. So possibly, we want to assure Ghanaians that we are capable of doing it.
You are capable of doing.
Yes.
All right, so Kpebu has spoken. He says that BoG 60 billion Ghana cedis debt, that's the loss, should also be attributed to central bank. The central bank should not exonerate itself. The economist is here, of course. Speak about it a bit for us, Manasseh.
Yes, so the Bank of Ghana published their financial statement on the 28th of July. And out of cheap propaganda, you find the NDC creating a whole lot of noise about it. Please, let's situate their losses in context. Let's ask ourselves, one, BoG is an independent institution. It is a creation of law. What is the core mandate of the Bank of Ghana? One is to ensure price stability. That's how come they always are mandated to ensure they're able to draw down on inflation, to reduce inflation to appreciable levels. And two, they are supposed to ensure financial stability by putting up good regulatory reforms to keep the banks up and running. Then they have a duty when it comes to money circulations and all of that, and even growth and employment and all of that. BoG has been very apt. And for me, I think it's important. I know it is very, very important for us to commend the Bank of Ghana. They have been very excellent in their intervention in ensuring they keep our economy back on its toes. The Bank of Ghana has come up to explain the reasons for the losses. And they have explained that when you look at the non-marketable securities they hold, that alone amounted to some loss of some 32.3 billion Ghana cedis. Then the marketable ones around 16.1 billion. They've also explained that when you look at the exchange rate fluctuations, that also led to a loss of around 5 billion. Then also the exposure to cocoa board also led to some losses in the tune of around 4 billion. Now you find NDC people creating the impression today as though the Bank of Ghana should report to them. The Bank of Ghana no more is an independent institution. And so what are they saying? That they are giving the governor 21-day ultimatum. And that they would hold ransom or they would go into the corridors of BoG. Please, BoG is a security zone. BoG is a national security zone. So you cannot move yourself into that place that are going to do some kind of demonstration. In any case, let's ask ourselves.
But we can't do demonstration without the police involved.
I am saying that.
So they definitely cannot move to a zone when the police hasn't cleared it. No, wait.
You listen to
what
them?
I'm saying is that they can talk, but we know that you cannot embark on a demonstration if the police doesn't give you a permit. So before they embark on it, if they should, then we know that they have permit from the police. We agree, right?
Yes. So it tells you we can't even take them serious. And it has to be established.
No, we don't know whether police will approve of it or not. So we can't even say that.
It has to be established that the losses BoG has incurred, it's not necessarily because they took money, invested somewhere, and they've run at a loss, or someone has stolen money. They are holding government securities. And it was important for Bank of Ghana to act as a loss absorber to ensure that they're able to salvage our economy. And that's how come they took a 50% haircut in the securities they hold for government, so that going forward we'll be able to secure the IMF program. And also BoG has been supportive enough. Another role of BoG is to ensure the economy does not crash.
Okay.
That's how come even before, I wish I could wrap up on this.
We know with all of that, again, as we are in this kind of debt, everybody will think that, okay, BoG is in this much debt where Ghanaians are struggling. And so if not for this debt, would have been okay. But again, we also see that in all the debts, we are still building a head office worth $250 million US dollars. Let me read this comment.
Okay.
What I want us to know is that dead NPP government is better than NDC living government. What can a dead goat do for this country except to beat war drum and sing war songs? He said Ghanaians have short memories. He also said he was proud to be Gonja and that they had their king and skinned peacefully. Unlike other tribes, it would have been a war. They're happy we fight. And when we fight 10 times, we will still be more than they are speaking like somebody who has no parental training. Okay, so quickly, just 1 minute, one second. The Ansem NDC communicator, Mr. Richard, not different from the others, redirects indeed. You cut teacher training allowance and made us stop school because we could not afford it. Now you want to come back and do same to our kids. Mbano, never from Kukudru, Nima Pao. Okay, Mr. John Dramani Mahama can provide us with more employment. You Ghana Damwasi. But my pain is the end result. So you will hear the inconfirmed flown to Burkina 24-hour working shift system policy. Hey. This one part, the NPP people has pressured him to come out with this unemployment socio-economic policy. NDC Kweku Odro Tebri New Doma. Okay. All right.
Yes. So
Quickly.
I want to establish that the losses BoG has announced has no implication on the economy. And it also has no implication on the operations of the Bank of Ghana itself. Don't forget,
on the economy.
Yes.
In the long run, we won't feel it in the economy.
Let me explain.
How do you say that it has no implications on the economy?
Yes.
The bank is running at a loss.
Okay,
please explain.
Yes. Now, don't forget that these losses were losses in 2022. We are in 2023. We are in the 8th month. So all those who are making noise about this, have you heard that BoG has come out to say that they don't have money, so they are unable to run their operations? Have you heard that? Have you heard? Have you heard that BoG is saying they have no money, so they cannot regulate, they cannot go about their supervisory activities on the various banks, or they cannot even pay their workers? The point
we all know that. We all know that.
Yes.
When we talk about losses, even if you don't feel it today, you feel it tomorrow. The fact that we might not be feeling this loss now doesn't mean that in the next 2-3 years we will not feel it.
Rosalind,
and so let's not say that even though there's loss, it won't affect the economy. One way or the other, it will affect us.
Rosalind, I maintain again that these losses, one, will not affect the bank. It cannot and it will not affect
the bank or the economy.
Bank, one, and two, the economy. The reasons
but will it affect the CD to the dollar ratio?
Hold on. The reasons are that these are assets that sits in the books of the Bank of Ghana. All right? It's just like you having your resources with me. I owe you 100 Ghana cedis. Then for the sake of experiences and in managing our resources, we say, okay, let's reduce the debt from, let's say, 100,000 cedis to 50,000. It doesn't necessarily mean we have used money somewhere, we've invested somewhere, and the monies are lost. The BoG is still able, BoG is still able to run its operations.
Manasseh.
In fact,
the we BoG, all know that. We all know that. You see, it's just the same way that Manasseh, when Richard was saying, teacher allowance cancel is not cancelled, blah, blah. It's the same thing you're telling us right now. You're telling us that a whole BoG has incurred a loss of 60 billion US dollars. Ghana cedis, sorry.
Yes.
And we will not feel it. Never.
Yes.
Oh, please.
We won't. And Rosalie,
let me bring Richard into the conversation.
In 30 seconds. In 30
no.
seconds.
Let me bring Richard into the conversation. We don't have time. Let me
Can I start
Richard
now?
speak.
So I will want to urge him, he should keep quiet when I'm talking. So
but when I was talking, you were interjecting.
No, he kept quiet.
I kept very quiet, and I want us to maintain that morality.
Please, you have disgraced yourself.
That's what I will have a very good relationship that will build.
Continue.
So, Rosalie, what it means is that the Bank of Ghana, which is the mother bank of Ghana, that's me and you, our bank, has said there's a loss of 60 billion Ghana cedi. And then quite some time ago, so many banks were collapsed in this country. And then the BoG collapsed the banks, and then were not able to run. It ran people jobless. Rosalie, a lot of people are now end up selling pure water. A lot of them are now turned to taxi drivers. Some of them have now turned to Okada riders, and so. After that, the BoG and Minister of Finance came to give us a tax to pay on it. You are aware, financial sector cleanup levy, and we pay every day. You and I pay every day for that. Then it comes to say that the 60 billion in Bank of Ghana has lost, so the bank is collapsed, and for that matter, there will not be operations, and they are in daily mind. The bank
they didn't say the bank has collapsed.
Oh, but they didn't need to tell you again. No, they didn't need to tell you.
They never said the bank
they won't
has
tell you.
They never said that. They never said that. No. You see, Richard,
they won't tell you.
No, but on live
they won't tell you. The reality is
the fact that they are running, they've run at a loss doesn't mean that the bank has collapsed.
Rosalie, the fact of the matter is that our 60 billion has given to Ken Oforiatta, Addison, and Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. They say it is lost.
No,
that's a fact.
No, it's not a fact. How do you say that's a fact? Where do you have your figures? Where do you have your facts?
Is the Minister of Finance not serving BoG board?
So is there a person that they gave it to, or they gave it to a ministry? How do you speak about it like that?
The ministry.
How do you mention somebody's name and say that it's a fact that
these are people that supervise the Bank of Ghana? Let us be real.
No. We are being real here, Richard.
Richard, only doing propaganda. This
is not a common fact.
This is a common fact.
It is not a fact.
The Ministry of Finance, the head of economic management team, and the bank of the boss of BoG are always together.
So what has that got to do with this? Are you telling me that if you are together with your wife and something happens, we'll say you get it to your wife?
In our room.
Oh, please.
When they were stealing,
are they in their room together? Are they in one room together? Please continue. I don't want you to do that propaganda either.
It's not propaganda.
You know what you're doing.
When they were stealing the past $1 million, they saw the husband's suit because they were in the same room. It's not true.
It has nothing to do with it.
It has something to do with it.
Let's continue.
So, and they are telling us that they use over 11 million Ghana cedis in the fitting shop. Car maintenance. Have you read the report? They are telling that they use over 60 million for computer-related issues. You know what computer-related issue, what it means? You take a computer to cycle, do maintenance for me, blow it, dashboard, and those things.
They don't take their computers to cycle.
I'm just saying, I'm making examples.
I get your point.
Yes, I'm explaining to an ordinary Ghanaian. And over 1 billion to fitting shop, change oil for me, pump my tire. And you come to sit here and tell us this our 60 billion that is lost will not have effect on me. You come to tell me that Mahmoud, who is in the Mokola market right now, and Tiata, who woke up in the morning and is paying tax, BoG is chasing him, GRA is chasing him every day and pay to BoG. It won't affect him. You are telling me, Rosalie, that Nakuja, who is in Bonkurugu farming right now, who is going to farm, wanted to finish this show before you go. After bringing his yam to Konkoma market and pay tax, and the money go to BoG, and the money is lost, it won't affect Nakuja. Rosalie, this is a reality issue. It's a serious issue. People, ordinary Ghanaians, will go and suffer, pay tax, and use 11 billion to go and change oil in your car. Rosalie, they are telling that they are building a head office, $250 million US. Rosalie, which kind of head office are you building with such amount of money?
All right, so
Rosalie, let us be real. Let us be Ghanaians.
Okay.
What is happening in this government? Everywhere is stealing.
All right.
And for that matter, we are giving 21 days ultimatum. If we don't get that money, we will occupy BoG and make sure that any revenue that comes, we'll supervise it and Ghana will get value for money.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, gentlemen. We are super grateful.